I'm currently the student trustee, and I can date it back to that point. Is I used to be stuck in this routine of just going to class and going home right after, and breaking out of that routine has been one of the best things that has happened in my life. And I just want to help students realize that there's so much more on campus here for them, that there's a big community that would be ready for them to be welcomed in. I believe that COD is a place that people can call home, and I want every student that attends here to be not just a flower but that blossoms, but that grows into a continuous person and becomes better. So if I could do one thing in my service, is to touch every single student's heart and have them feel welcomed at COD.
Being able to get more students to come into more clubs, including SLC, and just trying to touch, even if it's just a couple of students' hearts and lives, and being able to, for them to rely on me in a way of like a guidance, and just knowing that there is hope for them.
Lots of issues that sort of come up in these board meetings, and it's really important that students have a seat at the table, because then we can actually advocate for their needs. And so that's kind of what inspired me, and I hope to sort of hit the ground running if I do get elected in that spot, because you have a short window of time to try to make as much impact as you can.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hajra Fatima, and I am president of the Student Leadership Council.
My name is Naila Sabahat, and I'm the Vice President of Student Leadership Council. And we would like to welcome everyone today to the candidate forum for the 2023 student body elections.
Today, we are joined by students running for the 2023-2024 student leader positions of Student Trustee and Student Leadership Council Officer. Our forum will have three parts: opening statements, question and answers, and closing statements. We welcome questions that you can write on note cards and hand to our ushers in the back, and will attempt to include as many as possible questions during the forum.
During our opening statements, each candidate will get 3 minutes to respond. During questions, candidates will get 1 minute to answer each question. One of our SLC officers will be timekeeping you guys today. And
hello everybody, my name is Usman Naim, and I'm an officer with the SLC. I'm going to be keeping time for all of you. The green means start, yellow is a 30-second warning, and red means stop. I'm going to hand it back
to all the candidates, all the very best from our behalf.
We will begin opening statements now with our trustee candidates in ballot order, followed by officer candidates in ballot order. First is Ruju Rai.
Thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Ruju Rai, and I am a first-year student in Human Services at COD. I believe that service to one's community is the highest expression of humanity. Here at COD, my community happens to be all of you, the student body. So my vision and mission are to beneficially impact the well-being of the student body. I am running for Student Trustee and Student Leadership Council Officer because through these positions, I will be optimally situated to advocate on behalf of my community with the governing organizations that shape the student experience. I consider COD to be a hidden gem because of the exposure that we get to people from all walks of life, as well as the breadth and depth of high-quality curricular and extracurricular programming that's available to students at an affordable cost. I aspire for every student to be able to make the most and maximize the value that they obtain from this hidden gem. As student trustee and SLC officer, I will strive to foster a diverse, equitable, and inclusive environment in which all students are well equipped to thrive physically, cognitively, and emotionally while successfully achieving their academic, career, and personal goals. I plan to do this using a dynamic, hands-on approach whereby I will collaborate with various institutional stakeholders, including students, staff, faculty, administrators, the Board of Trustees, and DuPage County to create a more robust and sustainable system for gathering comprehensive information on student needs analyzing the data that is collected on student needs, and most importantly, appropriately responding to student needs through a combination of connecting students to resources, improving the adequacy of resources, and adding new resources. My personal motto is to consider every moment of my existence as an opportunity to love and to learn, and to make the most of that opportunity through deliberate practice. To love, for me, is an active process of combating hate and cultivating kindness toward myself and others with compassionate curiosity. To learn, for me, is also an active process of approaching the world as my classroom, every person I meet as my teacher, and every experience that I have as a lesson. This motto illustrates a mindset that I have consistently brought to my leadership on campus this year, and it's also the mindset that you can continue to expect from me to bring to my roles as student trustee and SLC officer if I am given the great fortune of being entrusted with that privilege by all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruju. We will move to our next officer and trustee candidate, Carlos Munoz.
Hello, everyone. In student trustee and officer, I see an essential and diverse position. Yet what I love the most about it is the inclination to amplify student voices. As your student trustee and officer, I will offer myself as an asset, an essential voice that will speak with the diverse college's student body in mind. Working for the Student Leadership Council expanded my understanding of how important the student voices are for the community. It not only enhances the student experience, but it increases the community value. And the overall goal is to improve and be better. I am Carlos Munoz, a second-year student majoring in computer science. I am running to be your next student trustee and officer to advocate for students' voices and to enrich the COD experience. As student trustee and officer, I will ensure student engagement by easing the hardest student life. My past collaboration with the Strategic Long-Range Plan Committee and the new student orientation program allow me to operate directly with faculty members, gaining an understanding of how to work for the greater good of the students. I will apply the knowledge that I got working with the faculty to accomplish my goals as a student officer and trustee for the benefit of the students and the institution. I hope I can count on all of you so we can all make a difference in the college experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. Moving on to our next candidate, Angel Hernandez, running for trustee and officer position.
Thank you. So, hello, my name is Angel Hernandez, and I'm currently running as candidate as the trustee and an officer. So, as a student officer, I'd like to focus on two main things. I'd like to commit myself in serving and emphasizing the student voice and advocating as well, and progressing the college in a continuous dedication to reinforce decisions where students will have the ability to prosper. I am here to serve as a vessel for all your unique voices. I am an advocate of representation, and I believe that out of all of our identities, the color of the skin, of our skin, is the most prominent. It's the one that catches the most eyes, and sometimes you are judged for it. So I'd love to be a role model for empowering young individuals to genuinely believe that they are able to thrive in an environment filled with prejudice. I also am an advocate for mental health, and we all strive to have a happy life. And I plan on having solutions to decrease the anxiety that all of our students have, and as well as other worries. I as well am an advocate of fostering a spirit of respect, and believe that to live a fulfilling life, it's very important to prioritize self-respect, to love yourself and one another. This respect has beautiful consequences in where it aids peers to have a completely different view on life and perceive daily things as beautiful as well. And finally, I'm an advocate for education and believe it's essential for students to not only understand how further it can in their field to make them successful, but to be able to touch someone and move someone's heart and be able to connect with them in the most effective way possible in such a captivating expression. So I seek to be there for everyone and reassure students that they are seen, that you are heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. Moving on to our next trustee and officer candidate, Asma Yuwari.
Hello all, my name is Asma Yuwari, and I'm also running for student trustee and for the officer position of Student Leadership Council. As a first-generation immigrant, part of the Afghan diaspora with hardworking immigrant parents from Afghanistan, I heavily value community and the voice. As part of Afghan women, we have been used to silence. And the reason I bring this up is because I am so used to silence, advocacy does run in my blood, and I believe that I will use that voice for you guys as well. We're all part of a student body that is made up of different races, cultures, languages, skills, and interests. Anyone who knows me can say that when I want something done, I will get it done, and I do not take no as an answer. I plan to hear you all out. I could tell you everything that I value, but what I value is what you guys value. So I plan to hear you all out on what you guys want prioritized, and I will get that done. Change and improvement begin when the people speak out. I will be the person that help you all use your voice. I have experience in activism and advocacy work covered by Chicago News, Channels, and UIC. I'm covered by the Daily Herald, Associated Press, Fox News, and ABC News as well. Just Google my name. Even with those qualifications that are beneficial to this position, the institution, and the student body, I'm still a student and a person just like you. I'm not a person to be intimidated by if, hopefully, I'm granted by this position. I want you guys to feel comfortable with me, that you guys can use your voice and talk to me conversationally. Whether you are here for a semester, a year, or multiple years, your time here matters. I ask for your vote so we can set up all our students for success, especially considering the diversity that our institution holds, and especially the lack of engagement. I believe that this entire room should be filled right now, but unfortunately there needs to be improvement done. So I kindly ask for your vote so we can make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Asma. Moving on to our officer candidates, Aisha Shafiuddin.
Hi everyone, I am currently your student trustee and also serving as an officer in the Student Leadership Council. I believe I have been equipped with a lot of tools and have also been humbled quite a lot of times when I've realized a lot of the common themes that candidates have presented here is that there is a need for advocacy at our campus, that there are students that should absolutely fill these seats, like Asma said. We should have this word and the impact of SLC reach every single student. And that is what I've been striving to do every day in my term as student trustee, is to engage, connect with students. Because I believe to serve the students well, I have to know their concerns and get to know each and every one of them. And I will do this as an officer to the team in Student Leadership Council. I have chosen to step down as student trustee, and I believe I've come to an interesting fork in my leadership journey. And I would like to share this with everyone because I think it could have been incredible for me to put myself out there and also run for student trustee. But the reason why I stepped down is because I would rather be in a position where I can help cultivate a team of leaders that continues to carry that legacy forward. This is why I'm choosing to run for Student Leadership Council officer again, so that I can position myself within the team to cultivate a team that will outlast me or anybody else that sits in this room. Because I want there to be an impact so strong that generations forward from now will feel it. That is why I'm asking for your vote today, so that I can cultivate the team of leaders and bring out the leader in every student that attends COD. Because COD is absolutely a wonderful campus to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. Our next candidate is Zohaib Qadri, who couldn't make it today, but more information about him can be found on COD elections website. Passing it on to our next candidate, Ty Giordano.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to tell you a little about myself. My name is, as you all can tell, is Ty Giordano. It is my second semester and first year here at COD, and I'm currently a student representative on the Student Leadership Council, and my major is economics. Secondly, I'd like to address why exactly I'm running for this position. Well, to answer that question, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my family. My grandmother, Alice Rowetter, is a name that you might recognize if you've applied to some scholarships. She was a professor here for many years. Both my parents went to COD as well. They actually met at the parking lot outside of the Seton Computing Center. Both my older sisters went here. I'm going here. And in 2 short years, both my younger brothers will be going here. COD has been a huge resource for not only myself, but my whole family as well. And if that isn't good enough already, I actually went to COD for preschool here. So COD has not only been there for my transition into the world of higher education, but into the world of K through 12. Because of this, I believe it is my duty to try to give back to an institution that I've benefited so greatly from, to actively improve COD for the current students as well as the hundreds and thousands that will come after me. To try and fulfill this duty, I've tried to get as involved as possible in order to benefit the community and work on my own leadership skills. I joined Student Leadership Council my first semester, became a part of the budgeting team, became a student rep my second semester, joined Phi Theta Kappa, and joined the Living Leadership Program. And recently I've applied to become a orientation leader for the new student orientation. I believe these experiences, along with my qualities such as good listening, working well under pressure, patience, persistence, reliability, humility, and self-awareness, make me an excellent choice for the position of student officer. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Let's give it up for our wonderful candidates for their opening statements.
Moving on to the next section of question and answers. If any audience members have questions, please hand it over to the ushers, and the ushers can get it to us. Our first question goes to all candidates, and the question is, how would being an officer or trustee impact you, and how would it be impactful to others? Anyone who wants to start can go ahead and start it for us.
Sure, I can start. Well, I can speak a little bit about my service because I've already been impacted by it, and I just want to continue for that impact to grow. I came into the role remembering last year the reason why I had ran is to increase student engagement, and that was my biggest goal. And it had impacted me because I realized over and over again that we had to change the way we operated to reach students. So instead of hosting fancy events in large areas at certain times of the year, I decided to do a bunch of smaller events to reach students. So I think through that, I learned the impact of being an officer is you really learn about different perspectives of students. And then you have to utilize those perspectives to grow your leadership so you meet students where they are. So my hope for the next year is that I learn from each and every one of you to grow myself so that I can better serve you.
So this is just my first semester here at COD, and I'm already a part of various different clubs such as Model UN, HSAC, and currently running for student trustee and officer as well. And not many people would be in the position I am today because I put myself out there, but because there is such low student engagement, if more students had known about this, like I said before, one, this room would be filled, and we don't know how many more candidates would also be among us. So I believe that this position would be not only beneficial to me, but also to you guys because I love enhancing the voices of others. And like I said prior, like Aisha had covered, I can also speak about my service, and this is nothing new to me where I'm able to advocate for people. So if I do have that title where I can advocate for you guys, I'll just have more credibility as to why I can speak out for you guys. Because as a student right now, I don't have that power to speak out for you guys. But if you guys grant me that title, I can definitely have more of an impact on what you guys need.
If I granted this position, I will definitely improve the way I am right now. At the beginning of my student life, I just had the same thought, the same ideology as many people. I just wanted to go to class, have my grades, and go home. And I just want to break that barrier for many of you guys, because there are still people who think that way. I thought that way. And thanks to all the leadership positions that I've been in so far, it shaped my understanding of how things need to be done. And that's how I am here right now. Because if it wasn't because of that, I wouldn't even be part of anything at the college. And I know engagement in college is crucial for the student. It maintains the student to be part of the community itself, but it gives us like so many benefits. And I feel that if you guys grant me that position, I will definitely be for you guys so you can advocate, that you can share those thoughts, so I can give those thoughts to higher ends.
So I mentioned in my opening statement that one of my personal mottos is to learn, and that's kind of seeing kind of every experience that I have, every person I meet, and the approach that I take as if the world is my classroom and everybody's my teacher and everything is a lesson. And I think that that sort of dovetails in sort of the three kind of key areas that I want to focus on next year, but I've sort of been focusing on this year as well, which is student wellness, diversity, equity, inclusion, and campus and engagement. And I think all of those things rely on each other. And there's been, as some of the former candidates mentioned, there's a lot of data showing that student success, academic success, personal success, and career success is dependent on feeling part of the community and feeling belonging on campus. And so that, I know for me, being involved as an SLC officer this year has helped me to be successful, and I want that opportunity to be available to all of the students, and I'm hoping that I can do that in my role. Thank you.
Sorry. So, as a first-year student, I am planning to major in psychology, and I also participate in ABA therapy work and help families in need, providing them therapy with autistic children. And I've also volunteered for Key Club, which is local community service. I think throughout the years, I've been doing these things. It helped me understand my community more. It helped me be more immersed with the people who are around me. I think especially this semester. Last semester, I had the belief of just getting good grades and going and attending class was just the most I could do. But this semester, I've gone to more clubs. I've met more people, amazing people who. Sorry. Yes. Oh yeah.
So being your guys' student officer would add to my ethos as a someone who can kind of reach out and help you guys. And it sounds like one of the biggest issues amongst us candidates is the idea of student engagement. I don't know how many of you guys have gone to a student leadership council meeting, but one of the things we try to be is we try to be kind of like the mediator between faculty and students. And one of the issues I've noticed is that we've had only a handful of students come to our meetings to even voice their issues. And I want to make sure that students not only within the BIC, but students within the culinary centers, the culinary and hospitality, the music centers, nursing students, technical education students, I want to make sure that everyone's voices are heard, because it's so easy to be caught up in this little world of the BIC and the SRC.
My next question would be directed to Angel. What are your leadership strengths and how do you identify them?
My leadership strategies?
Yes, like strengths or how do you work well with the team with your leadership skills?
Yes, of course. So as mentioned before, I'm involved in a lot of psychology things in my life. So I think listening and respecting one another is greatly important. I think my leadership skills not only can be further improved, but in this position, if I am granted it, but also, again, advocating the voices of students is very important. So not only beneficial for me, but for the students as well.
Thank you. My next question would be intended towards Asma. how would you solve the problem of minimal student involvement? What strategies do you bring to the table?
I'm glad you asked me that because, like I mentioned before, this is just my first semester here, and Jelly Mar is probably here, but she can tell you that since the first day that I've entered this institution, I've been trying to start a club, the International Students Club, because, like I mentioned before, the institution is made up of so many different backgrounds. Why don't we have an International Students Club? So, Jelly Mar just left, but she can advocate for me for saying that. I've been nagging her, saying that we need to start this club, we need to start this club, and I'm proud to say that we are actually starting it up now. Even though I'm not the original founder, I've been nagging the students to get it started up and encouraging them. And that's just one way just to prove that since my first day here, if I was able to accomplish starting up one club, imagine what I can accomplish if I'm granted that position as well.
Thank you. My next question is directed towards Ty. If you see someone in your team that is struggling or looks like they're in need of help, what is the best way to communicate with that person?
I think the best way to kind of communicate with anyone who is struggling with anything is just be open, because I've realized that a lot of people a lot of their struggles stem from issues that may not be seen, things that may be going on internally in their mind, worries that aren't present, that aren't visibly present. So I think just being kind of open to their struggles and listening to what's going on, and then providing feedback if it's wanted, because sometimes some people just want someone to talk to work their problems out. But being able to give back constructive criticism if they want it is critical for self-growth.
Thank you. My question would be intended towards Ruju. How would you describe your leadership style?
It's fitting that the question comes right after Ty, because I think my leadership style is also one of openness and more of like a responsive type of style. I really believe highly in compassionate curiosity and empathetic listening, and so I think that's the way that I would approach any issues that I confront. I've had a lot of training in conflict mediation, and I'm really good at cross-pollinating ideas and seeing patterns between groups and organizations and disciplines that sometimes people might not see the connections to sort of find creative solutions to solve problems. And I'm a very team-oriented person. I think that we can do a lot more together than we can alone. So it's very collaborative and very open.
Thank you. My next question would be intended towards Carlos. So how do you plan on getting students involved in SLC?
The main thing that I want to do with involvement is to break that barrier or formality. We tend to be too formal in our meetings, too formal in all our gatherings. So I feel sometimes that intimidates students, and that pushes them away to what we want to do as an organization. I feel like the best way is to have fun activities, whatever it comes away. It can be Uno cards, it can be just like a dancing party. I feel like that's what we're missing as an organization for students and to students, that we just missing the fun part that makes us students, but at the same time, we can accomplish our goals as an organization. Thank you.
Thank you. My next question is directed towards Aisha. What are some projects that you would passionately work on if you were to get your position?
I love this question because it makes me think about all the projects that I've already worked on and the ones that I really want to work on. I expressed earlier in my candidate statement that I really want to expand the impact that Student Leadership Council has on the entire student population. And I think one of the projects that is birthed from just that idea is to actually do a lot of grassroots movement. So involving the students and meeting them where they are. Something I did as an experiment that was super cool to see is I went to 2 graphic design classes through the grace of the faculty members that allowed me to speak there. And I realized there are so many students who would love to get involved with SLC, was it not for their circumstances. So that would be a project that I would invest my time fully, is to mobilizing SLC and meeting students where they're at in their classrooms.
next question would be directed towards all the student trustee candidates. How would you describe your ability to cope with multiple demanding tasks that you may not be knowledgeable in?
I can answer that. My friends that know me know that I'm a part of many different things. I mentioned the clubs, or if I didn't, the clubs that I'm a part of COD. Not only am I a part of the clubs within COD, I also do on the side community service stuff. Like I mentioned before, I've done workshops with UIC. I also held 2 successful protests while being in school. I'm also a model on the side. I am a student. I work a full-time job. So with all these, and also being a full-time student, I'm able to balance all of these out. So multitasking is nothing new to me. If anything, it keeps me going. I love busy work. I love being motivated. And when I have more projects and tasks coming my way, it makes me more motivated to get them accomplished sooner than later.
Answer this question. I think that what's helped me with multitasking is to rely on the resources at my disposal. So those resources can include technological tools, like I use Outlook and color code, like different calendars for different activities in my job and school and all the things that I'm involved with. And the other resources that I use is my support system. In the case of being a trustee, I know that the former student trustee, Aisha, and Nyla before that are 2 people that I'm going to be going to for a lot of advice and guidance on how to handle it, because there's no need to sort of reinvent the wheel. And so I think that's kind of the approach that I will use to multitask. And I think it's helped a lot that I've had this year as an SLC officer, because I know that it's a really steep learning curve to become a trustee, and the training ground that I've had this year in already doing a lot of those demanding tasks and multitasking is going to set me up with a better foundation next year.
I know my way of coping with multitasking and different things that I have to do if I don't have the knowledge of how to solve things. It's just relying on my peers. We are humans and we are students. We're just learning right now. So I feel like we don't have all the answers. And I know the best way to find a solution to solve an insecurity in not only me and like whoever is approaching me. I feel like the best way is just to ask the right questions to the right person, and I know they're gonna give you the right answer so you can help better people, so you can solve things better and you can cope things in a better way.
Going along with what Carlos said, I think with handling multitask, I've been going through a really hard time with handling them, and sometimes it's okay to burn out. I think we should spread the awareness that it's okay to cry alone, it's okay to cry together as well. Finding that support system is very, very important, and I definitely do feel like in my own personal case that when I've joined the SLC, there's a bunch of individuals who are also going through the same thing as me, and I understand their struggles, and it makes me feel more welcome in the community. Just having people to relate to is very important, which comes with openness.
Thank you. My next question is directed mostly towards officers. This is a question from the audience, but the question is, how will you improve food options for the students? I would just change that a bit to just ask, how will you fulfill student demands being in your position?
I can answer that. So I do think that we should mention that it is the food options, because the food options do go hand in hand in the student engagement, because a lot of students are leaving the campus because they don't have food. Food is fuel, and the fact that students are not able to have that option to eat after 3 p.m., I think is just absurd. And the options that are available are not accessible to most students. I'm talking cost-wise. So I think it is important that we do mention that it is an issue. Pre-pandemic, we had more options. Now we do have some options more here and there, but it is an issue, and I know students did bring it up, because I did bring it up in the meeting once, and everyone laughed, and it was because, oh yeah, it's been an ongoing issue because nothing has been done. And I do think it's troubling that when students are speaking up that nothing's being done. So if I'm granted that position, that I will definitely be pushing for something, because multiple students have spoke out about it, but there's just been no change.
I think the best way for us to solve this issue, which is a recurrent issue, we have had this issue for for so long, is just to collaborate with the specific departments who are in charge of the food in college. I know we don't have the power to solve everything, even though we would love to have that power. But there's certain people that can change that, and if we collaborate with them, we're definitely gonna have that goal done, which is like a recurrent thing that we're doing right now.
Hadra, I just want to clarify. These questions were for those who have not
So
already.
technically all of them.
I can answer this. So obviously when attacking any issue, the first thing anyone should do is really kind of reach out to those people who are in charge. Specifically for the food issue, we did have a representative from Sodexo, which is the company which provides our food, come in and talk with us. But I believe one of the more important things to do is also look and see what other community colleges are doing, because I'm sure many are facing a similar issue, as many students are working students. So looking out to other community colleges or colleges in general to see what they are doing or have done and learning from others is also very important when attacking any issue.
Did you have something to add?
Can I add on to that?
Sure.
I just want to mention that we have reached out to the hired people and nothing was done. So right now, Nathan's in the crowd. Our English class is working on a project, and if the students had not spoke out about it, if our class had not spoke out about it, nothing would have been done. We're in the process of continuing to push for it, but just an example right now, if the students, such as me and Nathan, didn't start anything, we would still be in the same position as we are now.
I'm inclined to say something only because I wish this was a candidate debate.
Yeah.
Because I would argue against what you're saying. I think that there has been great strides that we've made, and I feel a lot of passion there because this has been an ongoing issue.
Yeah.
And the problem is it's been evolving, right? We are trying to get in touch with people who have been in charge with the dining services committee, and Ruju, she serves on that. So I would disagree with the notion that nothing's been done. That's why we have the farmer's fridge, and I there have been initiatives started, but I do agree that there's a great journey on this path that we need to continue on because clearly not all of our students are being served in this way. So I would say when student demands are met, I would scope out and see which parties are involved, talk to all of them, understand exactly what's going on, and then come at it with a strategy that gets exactly what you need done. And right now, we're in that process. We're still working on it, and hopefully we'll get something done.
Thank you, Ash.
Yeah, I will just add that it speaks to something I've been thinking a lot about in terms of the advice that the past trustees gave me about how there's a very high level of functionality that's needed in the role of the trustee. And you have to develop a very keen understanding of the existing chain of command, and also an understanding of the inner workings of the structures in the government and who are all the players and the stakeholders in that. And within that, you have to know when to sit back and observe and when to act. And when you do act, how to act. And so it's a skill that I think takes time and patience and understanding to develop. And I love the things that Aisha and Ty said just a little bit, as well as you, Carlos, about listening to as many people as possible, sort of scoping out to get a full picture, and also going to other sources and seeing like what are some creative solutions that other colleges are doing. Maybe there's an out-of-the-box thing that we haven't thought of yet. And just another really quick thing that sort of came up to me is goodwill goes a long way. So one of the things that sort of happened recently is Sodexo had a staff appreciation week, and unfortunately we weren't able to get any students to go, but I'm going to be making a commitment in the next couple of weeks to attend one of their huddles, because I think that if we show goodwill to them, the likelihood that they'll show goodwill back is much higher.
Okay, so my next question will be directed towards Angel. This was a question from the audience. Since you talked about mental health, how are you going to tackle that issue if you get elected as an officer or student trustee?
Yes, of course. I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and something that I have been practicing in my own life ever since starting going to church was the act of seeing things in a new light, in a new perspective. So if I could work on a project, I would. It would be people would have the chance to speak out without being known, and they'd have to answer 3 questions. So it'd be whether or what's their general overview of the problem that they have, something that they use to cope with that problem, and a way they could see that problem in a new light. Just because personally, I feel like I've been doing it for so long that sometimes it even happens unconsciously, which is amazing, because it does help with letting things go and not having to worry about it so much, because there's always a reason for why something happens.
Thank you. My next question is directed towards Ty. How do you contribute towards making a team stronger or more effective?
Well, I think to answer that question, I think my my own self-awareness is something that is really good in a team environment, because I like to think that I can look at myself in a pretty critical and rational way. And so looking out and seeing where a team needs me to be and what they need me to do, and to then look back at myself and improve myself to better fit that role would be really is a really useful skill.
Next question, this is going to be the last question to Aisha. How will you bring a rise in student engagement, and what strategies do you plan to work on?
I could go on for hours about this, guys, because I have invested my whole student trusteeship into this. But I think that really mobilizing what I said earlier is like talking to students where they are in the classrooms, in their like corner space while they're just studying, and interrupting it just really quickly and introducing who you are is one of the best strategies I've found in my year of service. Usually when you do that, the student will move from a completely zoned out mode to a somewhat interested, like, who is this interesting lady talking to me? So doing that and moving SLC outside its office and where it lives is probably the best way I would go, because I want to meet students really where they are, and that would be in their classrooms. And also another strategy I would mobilize is reaching out to club leaders. There are already engaged students there. We just have to go and talk to them. So doing that, and being president of the Computer Science Club, I know this very well, it is incredibly easy to engage students where they're already engaged. So I would do that also.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we were not able to go over all the questions that you guys provided, but feel free to reach out to our wonderful candidates and you can have one-on-one with them. At this time, we are going to transition to closing statements. Statements will be no longer than 1 minute, and we will begin the student trustee candidates in ballot order and proceed to the officer candidates in ballot order.
Thank you. I'd like to close by first saying thank you to our audience for your time and consideration. I have great respect and admiration for all of the hardworking and talented candidates that are running against me, and I know that no matter the outcome of the election, we will be in good hands. I have always been a big believer that leadership is not about having a title or a place at the top of a hierarchy, but about using the tools that are at my disposal to contribute value to my organization, no matter my role, whether that be as a janitor or as a C-suite executive. So even if I lose, I will remain committed to working in conjunction with the incoming elected team to continue to carry out the vision and mission that I outlined in my opening statement. That being said, I know that I can contribute more value with more tools at my disposal, and I believe that I am the most qualified candidate to take on the challenging endeavors of the student trustee and SLC officer role because of my proven track record and advanced proficiencies in student government, group leadership, and interpersonal communication. I would be grateful for your vote, and there's so much, as Aisha said, there's so much more that we can talk about. Please come to us. We'd love to talk to you.
Carlos.
I'd like to first thank you all for coming here and for all the amazing candidates that we have. Like Ru said, no, it doesn't matter the outcome, who wins or who loses. We're gonna achieve at some point all the goals that we are setting right now. And I like to welcome all the students to like give your voices to us so we can amplify those voices. We need your input, we need your advices, we need your problems so we can solve them. And I know and I'm hopeful that if I win this position, I am be the one in front to hear from you guys and to solve those problems as I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Angelique can go next.
So I just like to say we all appreciate your presence and your votes and your time. So it's very important for everyone to find an individual candidate that resonates with you, that understands you, that is willing to be there for you, that you can even relate to. And I can't emphasize this enough, but a candidate who's willingly, passionately there to sacrifice their time to help others. And I plan on being this candidate, but if I do not meet your student needs, there's a bunch of other people in your life and in this campaign that will always be there for you. So it's very important, and all of your votes matter. So thank you.
Thank you. Asma?
First off, I wish we had more time to answer your guys' questions, because I think that's what the whole point of this is, and just hearing out your needs, and hopefully if we could answer them. I appreciate you all, and these are all great candidates, so whatever the outcome is, you are in great hands. As you guys can tell, I'm very passionate about this, and as Angel mentioned, we're sacrificing our time for this, and I don't think it's just a sacrifice because we want to do this. I believe that I'm the most qualified for this position because not only in my first semester here at COD, I've accomplished so much, but outside of COD, I've done things outside of just within the school. So whatever I've done outside of school and out on the bigger end of things, I can definitely apply that within the institution. I think it will be very successful. So I hope I got your guys' vote.
Moving on to our officer candidates, Aisha.
Before I start my candidate statement, or I guess concluding statement, I would like to thank everyone who's in the room. The candidates, the people working the cameras, the news people back there, the advisors, students, everyone, because you guys being here, it's the ripple that starts to float out and get the word out about our election. I would really ask for your vote, not because I'm already serving and doing all these projects and I have a multitude of experience, but because I want to impact every single student here at COD in my service. And I believe I've begun that, but I want to wrap it up and take that legacy that our prior team is handing me. So I want to continue my service, and I think that I might be the wisest candidate here because I've been in service to SLC for quite a long time. So I want to cultivate that next team and really push Student Leadership Council beyond where it can be right now and just expand continuously on the legacy that we have already set in motion. With that, I humbly ask for all of your votes.
Thank you. Moving on to Ty.
All right, I don't mean to sound repetitive, but again, thank you guys for being here. I know there's not too many of you guys, but this is really incredible because it shows that you guys really care about COD as an institution and those who will be representing you. As Rue mentioned, a title is really just a name. You can still make lasting impact, so regardless of if I become officer, I will still continue to commit myself to bettering COD however I can. Thank you.
He already has.
This concludes our student body elections candidate forum. Let's put our hands together for the candidates. On behalf of myself, Naila, and the entire Student Leadership Council, we thank all the candidates for coming today, and thank you to all those attending.
The student body elections will take place online at chaplife.cod.edu beginning at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, March 15, 2023. They will end on Thursday, March 16, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. Students who are currently enrolled in at least one credit hour at College of DuPage are eligible to vote and should visit ChapLife to access the ballot. Log in with your Blackboard credentials and the ballot link will appear on the homepage.
You may vote for one student trustee candidate and up to 6 officer candidates on the ballot. For information about the election and for full candidate platform statements, please visit cod.edu/studentelections. I would also like to inform of another second forum happening basically, which is just like you guys were mentioning, almost in a debate format, which will be held Monday. If you're interested in that, please reach out to us to get more details. Thank you everyone and have a great day.